is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
Okay, so here is why I wanted to do this video and to show you why this renovation is happening. So I'm not a little girl, I'm actually quite large, and I need all the space I can get. This bathroom pod is not that huge. It's not a monstrosity. I think it's 1.2 meters by maybe 600-700. So it's not very wide, it's not very long, but it gets the job done, right? But you can be more comfortable. And when I was hooking up the power for the diesel heater, I took it through here, through the power section through here. But and noticed that there was this huge gap behind the toilet that was not being used, and it just made no sense to me. So you can see basically to this point here is 530 from the back wall, right? And look at that, it's 230 mils. I mean, there's nothing shy about that. 230 mils of wasted space. And for what? The only thing that's coming through there is the plumbing, which is just ridiculous. They could have just had, in that section above here, when they designed it, they could have had just an expanded area where the plumbing can come through. And this is the waste, which, by the way, I had said that was the problem, and I knew it was. This goes up into the pull down sort of basin, right? And when you've got water going through a device like this that's corrugated, it wants to go around like this and go down the hole like this, and that thing would never drain. So, you know, like, it's because they use this cheap stuff and when they manufacture these things, but they're not practical. So the water is just not convenient in getting down the hole, plus the bacteria that's in there. I mean, like, I don't even want to go there. So just for the sake of this pipe here, which I haven't quite worked out what it is, but it's obviously some sort of vent system, and these two hot water and cold water pipes, they've decided to step out 230 mils. No sense to me, no sense at all. So as you can see, there is nothing down this. Hope I don't drop my phone. There's only these hoses are all down here. It's all a complete waste of space. So super happy. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take even the walls out of here. I think I'm actually just going to rebuild the entire structure, because I'm not actually convinced that this is up against the wall either, because you can feel that there's too much give. So I know this is confined quarters, people, but I can't really do anything about it in the filming. The one issue I have is this window, but I think I'm going to have to pull the window out. Then I'll reframe the walls and put the window back in. That's the only thing that's different. Going to have to move the plumbing. So the problem, let me just explain what the problem is here. So that's the back wall, and I think it's 1.2 meters from side to side, right? And they've put the toilet, that canister goes to outside, and that's where you pull the canister out and empty the poop, right? So, but they have put it basically, well, it's not smack bang in the middle of the 1200, but it's quite close. So I don't really want to stick my new toilet, which is like this, I'll insert picture, right there, so it'll have a gap on that side and a gap on that side. It makes no sense. So unfortunately, the worst thing to do is actually add another door, cut another hole into the van, which no one likes doing, but honestly, it's the most practical thing. The only other way I can do is have it to exit where you pull the canister off this wall, but that's right at the entry door. And I don't really want to pull out the canister poop full inside the van. I think it's just not hygienic, and you know, it's not a huge deal. Obviously, anyone who's done it, they don't stink. but it's just nasty. You know, you just don't want the poop in the entry door. So what I am deciding to do is I'm going to move this drain hole. I'm going to hop under the van first, make sure I can move that drain hole to the other side of this space, and I'm going to move the toilet not from there to here. So the main toilet will be as close to this corner and this area as possible, which is right actually where the doorway is, but that's okay, I'm moving the door. So the toilet will sit there. It's actually got a swivel seat on it anyway, so you can face that direction. So we'll pop that there, and then that'll give me all of that space to have a shower, which I think is, you know, it's just remember, like even when you've got this up here, then you've got this panel here, and it all closes in on you, and it's just not necessary. Why you have to have a hand basin is beyond me anyway when I have a sink. So, I mean, maybe that's a personal decision and maybe that makes sense to some people, but it certainly didn't make any sense to me. There's not enough space in here to give it up for a vanity. It'd be really nice to have a vanity, but there's no room in here. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. Now, the only other problem I got here is this. Look at this. So that had a sort of like a flashing over it at one stage when I bought it, and I thought, well, that looks dodgy, it doesn't even look like it's on properly. Well, it was obviously just put on to cover up the fact that it's leaking water. So I've fixed the water leaking issue, and it's all nicely dried up and everything now, so I can start taking care of it and clean it all up and what have you. The ceiling actually looks in really good shape except for the mold, so that's fine. I'll hit the mold, not a problem, and hit the mold and reseal the roof, and the gold paint's actually going on there anyway, so just to keep, you know, congruent, I guess, with the rest of the van, which has got obviously the gold roof. So yeah, we'll go gold roof that. I have got a separate flange unit that I might be able to make and pop over there anyway, but we'll see what it comes up like. I've got plans, but they're not cemented in plans. So currently, let's give you the best view. That's what the pod looks like at the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the shower door to this side here. So basically the whole internal part of that shower is going to be removed. So I've got to take this wall off, this entire wall off. I'll resheet it. I'll leave this side on. That's basically the wardrobe, the overhead cabinets, and then that cabinet there. I'll leave that on, that side on, but I'm going to remove the whole face of the toilet. So yeah, it seems like a big job, but I actually I don't think it's going to be. We'll see. Right. Okay, this is. Oh, wet my breath, hang on. Okay, this is the vent for the grey tank. I didn't want to cut it just in case it was like part of the gas system or something stupid, and I'd feel like an absolute fool if I just ripped it out. So I am going to cut it off. I will put it back. Don't stress. I don't need to cut it because it wasn't even plugged in. Look at that. Ta-da. Hey, under that again. Right, just let me show you this plumbing situation. Why they've done it this way, I don't know. I mean, as to the location, not to the plumbing. Plumbing's right. So what we have here, hopefully you can see all this. There is a blue cable and a red one, you should be able to see. So the blue one, I can't get my hand in there, but it's should be to the bottom right of your screen. That's actually coming from the water fill, so, or from the tank itself. So the tank gets filled with water. The blue line, which is to represent cold, actually throws the water into the pump. That's the first port of call, and it will come through that blue line there. And then down here, and as you will see, there is a tiny little, you can see 2 blues and a red. That's the blue coming in to the pump, and the red and blue are going out of the pump from the filter over to that side, and you can see the red cable that goes all the way over to the kitchen sink. So that's the kitchen sink hot and water divide. So my guess is obviously behind that there's blue wire coming, a blue pipe coming in that goes to the pump. The pump will split off into a hot and cold, or the hot actually comes from the hot water heater, and then it will split in 2 ways, because obviously there's hot and cold in the shower and hot and cold in the sink, so there'll be some sort of T-junction up there somewhere. So the thing is that those 3 wires, those 3 pipes, I should call them pipes, not wires, sorry, those 3 pipes go into the bottom of the shower room. So it's not ideal for me. I don't think I have anything on the other side. I don't think there is anywhere else I can bring those pipes in, so we're going to have to accommodate for that. Okay, right. This is now behind the toilet. I'm giving you a bit of a close-up look. See if I can work out a way to sort this out. Okay. The single blue line that comes in doesn't go straight into the filter. It actually goes, not straight into the pump, it goes straight into the filter. So you can see it coming in, and then it loops around the filter and then down and into the pump. So yeah, that's what that's all about. That's the drain I'm going to use for the shower, except I'll use a little bit nicer stuff than what they've got there. They've got power lines running everywhere. Not really. I know the pump's got a power line, so maybe that's what it is, and maybe there's some sort of light switch or something. I don't know. I can feel my clothes. Look, there's my clothes. And yeah, okay. I'm actually pretty stoked. Actually, this is all. It's all fairly explanatory. I don't think I can mess it up. And saying that, I can always mess it up. You can always mess it up. There's always a way. I'm worrying about this coming through here, that's all. I'm just going to have to heighten the shower part, because I don't want to move all of those wires, and there's no other place to put them. So anyway, I was going to clean all that up, and I thought, well, what's the point of that? I'm going to make a lot more mess cutting all this stuff out, so I shall just get on with it. Okay. Okay, I'll be quick, because that was itchy. I'm itchy, I need a shower, so I'll just quickly show you. I couldn't film it all because the camera is just not available to do so. Alright, I'm leaving the pan in for now because it's attached to the plumbing, so I'll separate that. So the toilet's still in situ and usable, and a floor to sit on, or not to sit on, to put your feet on. And that's it. I am going for a shower. I see itchy, 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 itchy. So this is actually the template design, so that is a new floor for the bathroom, and as you can see I've got grid patterns underneath it, A, for support, but also so I could run all the power and plumbing and everything underneath that floor. There was no way to actually move the pipes from where the existing floor would be for the shower, so the most logical conclusion that I came to was to basically step up the floor. Next up is the waterproofing. I think I put about 6 coats on the flooring, so I just want to make sure it was clear. Now what I decided to do was I was actually going to put in 2 drains, since there was 2 existing, one which was the previous what do they call it, basin, and the other one which was the previous shower, and they were both at opposite ends of the bathroom, which to me made perfect sense to have 2 drains. You can never get the RV on a dead flat level surface, or you know, always at the back, so it all drains or whatever. So to me it seemed the logical conclusion is to keep both drains, so it doesn't matter whether the van is tilted forward or back, the drain is available. It still obviously relies on the fact that the van needs to be sort of sloped onto the lower side, but that's not really an issue. Okay, here I'm actually putting the battens on to sort of strengthen the wall, ready for a new wall to go in. I wanted to show you this footage too. This is Emmie. This is what she does. She gets the screws and goes and drops them wherever the heck she feels like it. And she pretty much did that all day. Okay, I ended up going with this product. It's a PVC roof cladding. Found it by accident, and it's tongue and groove, weighs nothing, costs nothing, and it comes in a very few different shades. So obviously I chose the white for the bathroom, and basically just started measuring up and cladding the walls. It was covered with like a protective plastic sheeting. You'll see at the end of it. It was an absolute nightmare to get off. And it wasn't until after I'd finished that somebody had said to me, why didn't you use like a heat gun and shrink it off? It's like, oh, anyway, you live and learn. I won't be doing it again. Obviously just cutting around the window. You can see Emmie, she's just like going backwards and forwards the whole time. Such a nutcase. Don't look at all the plastic. It is so staticky. Yeah. Anyway, I've still got to seal the edges and everything, obviously, but yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready for us to do the rest of the bathroom today? You're going to put some screws for me, get him out. That's a good job. Oh, you're so good. Are you ready? Should we get to work? All right, thank you. At this point I had to redo the whole front wall of the shower or bathroom, and what I had purchased was what they call a glide away door, so I'll show you a little later in the video, and you basically just slide it along and it squidgies itself when it closes, when you close the door back up again. Yeah, so it's just basically putting the framework out and putting that door in, which you'll see shortly. Yeah, it was quite a tricky little process. Don't mind Emmie in the background, she's chirpy today. So yeah, this is the final product. I'm taking you from the top down. So you can see their gold roof. I ended up putting a downlight surround over that disaster that was up there. And it just looks a lot more finished. I prefer it to be black, but it wasn't, so yeah, we have to just deal with it. See all their towel racks and the soap holders, their toothbrush holders. They're all a product from Bunnings, and I think it's called Fusion Lock it's called. I can't recommend them enough. No screws, no nothing. They're just suctioned onto there and they stay. They've never come off, and I've been down some pretty corrugated roads now and nothing has ever fallen, so that's just a rep for you there. The blind I got from Bunnings as well. I just cut it down. It was a lot bigger and wider. Venetians are super easy to cut down, so that's why I went that. And yeah, the towel rack I got off Amazon, which is in the link below if you would like to check that out. Yeah, all in all, I'm really quite happy with how it turned out. It's got a massive amount of room. So that's the shower there. Basically got 4 points of exit for water. So obviously it's the rain head. It's actually really quite big. But I had no intention of using it, but because I was thinking it used too much water, and it actually doesn't. So yeah, I use that one quite a lot. I was more into the handheld because it's a lot more efficient in getting your stuff done very quickly. So, but also down here, we have a different kind of setup. So you've got this little squirty one here, which I can use to either wash the walls down or clean the toilet down, which is actually really handy. And here is actually a spout, like a bath filler, so I can wash my feet here after, you know, on the beach and sand and what have you. So that's good. And on the other side we have the toilet. Now I've positioned it there because that's where it was during the design concept, and that's where it was supposed to be. I'm no longer putting it there. It actually sits that way, facing that way, even though that bowl is actually turnable. But I think the thing that I haven't actually put a hole in the roof, in the wall outside, for the simple reason that I hate this toilet, and I'm not going to put a hole in my van for this toilet. But the second thing is taking it out gives me this entire space to have a shower, and I literally just lift it out. It's a canister toilet anyway. It's obviously for ease that you can pull it out from outside, but it's not a necessity. So although I have the door, I am not utilising it in the traditional sense that everybody else does. Yeah, it's a bad design. You can't really have the toilet in while you're having a shower anyway, because you'll see that lid there doesn't cover the entire toilet seat as such. So when it gets water on it, the water just goes under that lip and straight into your canister. Well, actually it doesn't. If that silver thing here is not pulled out this way, which opens the hole into the canister, then basically all the water that goes into the toilet under that lid and down ends up behind the toilet. Again, really bad design. Terrible, 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 terrible loo. Would not recommend that you don't buy it any more than that. Yeah, so the floor, as you'll see, there's like a timber decking down there. Hope you can see it in the camera. And that's basically a fake floor, so you get to stand on that, have a shower, your feet are dry. Yeah, it just makes sense to me than standing on a horrible waterproofed base. So the base is actually under there, the one that we built, and yeah, and it does what it's supposed to do. There's no water leaking anywhere, which is good. And that's about it, really. Yeah, and the door, of course, which is a slide door, so it just basically slides open and closed, and when it closes back in, the water gets squidgied off as it closes, if that makes sense. Let's bring the screen on so you can see when you pull it out, right, and then when you push it back in, you'll see that it basically squidgies it. I can't really explain it any other way. But yeah, and it's a lot better with it open. It doesn't feel as restricted inside the van. So yeah, there you go. That is it, my friends. Bathroom is done. Had a few hiccups with it at first and had leaks and all sorts of things, but everything now, cross wood, touch wood, somewhere, everything's fine. So there you go.
Next week on That Van Chronicles, we'll take you into the interior of Western Australia to Button Rock, and a few other places as we hit some red dirt. Look forward to seeing you then. Until then, Emmie and I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.